dig deeper.
Hi, I'm Coach Melderis. As we know, tomorrow starts the EuroLeague playoffs. I have breakdown both games Zalgiris against Fenerbahce, and I would love to share the numbers. As we know that Zalgiris lost the both games, and let's see what the number shows. And we start with my special box score window. The numbers are on, and if we watch on overall offense, then Fenerbahce was a little bit more effective than Zalgiris. We can see that both teams' most common offenses were pick and roll offense and set offense without pick and roll. For Zalgiris, pick and roll offense was 1.1 point per possession, but Fenerbahce 1 point. And set offense without pick and roll, Zalgiris has 0.9 points per possession and Fenerbahce 1.1 point per possession. And the number shows that Zalgiris shouldn't play press defense because Fenerbahce was solving it very well with 1.8 points per possession. Okay, let's go further and see the set offense. The numbers showed that both teams were running off-ball screen, post-up, and one-on-one offenses. For Zalgiris, most effective offense was off-ball screens with 1.3 points per possession. But for Fenerbahce was post-up offense with 1.2 points per possession. Zalgiris was struggling with a post-up and one-on-one offenses. And overall, for the set offense, Fenerbahce was more effective than Zalgiris with 1.1 against 0.9 points per possession. The next offense what we're going through is pick and roll offense. Both teams like to run top pick and rolls, and both teams has 1 point per possession. Overall, Zalgiris has a little bit more effective on pick and roll offenses with 1.1 point per possession against 1 point. Alright, next up, pick and roll defense. Zalgiris did play flat defense, step out defense, and switching defense, and was struggling with a flat and switching defense. They let score 1.3 points per position and 1.4 point per position with switching defense. But Fenerbahce was playing step out defense and let score 1.4 point per possession. Most effective pick and roll defense for Fenerbahce was switching defense with 0.4 points per possession. Okay, let's go further and let's see the players and team pick and roll offense more in details. The pick and roll offense window is on, and if we talk about the team, we can see the number that Zalgiris had to play 40% of the time against step out defense because they scored 1.35 points per possession, but was struggling with a switching defense with 0.44 points per possession, and that was one of the reasons why they lost the first game, because on the last quarter in the first game Fenerbahce was switching all pick and rolls and Zalgiris started struggling with that. As we talked earlier, Zalgiris had to play on the first game also against step-out defense and switching defense. Against step-out defense, almost 1.60 points per possession, but against switching defense, Zalgiris had problem, only 0.44 points per possession. And still, on second game, Zalgiris was doing great job on step-out defense with 1.2 points per possession, but a little bit problems with the show pick and roll defense, 0.86 points per possession. So, and if we talk about the players, then Walters has the most possessions against pick and roll defense. And let's see against what kind of pick and roll defense he had to play. Fenerbahce was playing step-out defense and switching defense on him. And numbers showed that against the step-out defense, he had 2 points per possession, but against switching defense, 0 points per possession out of 5 possessions. And if we pick switching defense, we can see that Walters never shared the ball on switching defense out of 5 possessions. 1 time he took to the basket, 4 times he made mistake. And next up, Fenerbahce pick and roll offense. We can see as a team Fenerbahce had to play against flat defense, switching defense, and step-out defense. Against the flat defense, they had 1 point per possession. Against switching defense, they had almost 1.30 points per possession. And the only thing Fenerbahce was struggling was against step-out defense, only 0.7 points per possession. So let's see the Fenerbahce step out offense. Most of the points they scored from the under the basket and one shot from the top. But if we talk about the players, then Slokas had the most possessions against pick and roll defense. Let's check what kind of defense he had to play and what the number shows. So the number shows that Slokas had to play against the flat defense. With 8 possessions, he scored 1.5 points per possession. On all pick and roll offenses, 80% he finished it by himself with 1.4 points per possession. And all finishing possessions was outside the paint. Alright, let's talk about set offense without pick and rolls. As we talked earlier, Zalgiris run most of the time post-up offense, off-ball screen offense, and one-on-one. Only with off-ball screen offense, Zalgiris score more than 1.31 point per possession, but struggling with a post-up and one-on-one, around 0.7 points per possession. If we compare overall setup offense game by game, then in the first game Zalgiris scored 1 point per possession, but in the second game only 0.8 points per possession. Time for Fenerbahce setup offense. And number shows how great is Fenerbahce setup offense without pick and rolls. In any type of offense, they get at least 1 or over 1 point per possession. And most difficult part for Zalgiris is that all players are involved in offense. Can you wait until first playoff game and see the numbers?